Okay, let's take it back to basics. In this video, I am going to go through step by step what it takes to get your very first investment property. If we've not met before, I am Katie, founder of KO Estates, helping clients on their investment journey. Getting your first investment property is so exciting, and the best part about it is when that first rental payment hits your bank account and you think, wow, all this hard work has paid off. Because we are in property for passive income, and it's a word that's thrown around all the time. But let me tell you, the start of it is not passive, and it's certainly not passive if you've not got the right systems and strategies in place. So I want to make sure that you are completely covered so that you are creating a passive income, so that you are buying back your time and you are creating an income that will pay you every single month for the rest of your life. It is the best feeling, and we are doing the hard work now so that we can benefit later down the line. So let's dive in. Okay, first things first, you need to understand how you are setting this up, and it all comes down to your structure. Are you buying your property in a personal name, or are you going down the limited company option? Now, there are pros and cons to both sides, and I've done a really helpful video that goes into both of those in a lot more detail to help you make that decision. But that first decision we do have to make on our journey is which one we are going down. The right answer will depend on your personal situation, your end goals, and really what you want out of the property investment itself. But that's the first decision we need to make, because it's going to affect the next stage, which is all about the funding. How are we funding our investment? There are many different ways that you can do this. You can either go down the cash option, where you put all your money in and buy a property outright. Now, a lot of people tend to prefer to leverage their money a little bit more, and instead of just buying a property entirely in cash, they leverage lending, get a mortgage involved to help them buy the property. The reason we look at funding at this stage is we need to know our budgets. We need to know how much we've got to play with. So we really need to start that conversation with mortgage brokers, if that's the route you are going down, to understand, based on your personal income, your requirements, your goals, your needs, they will be able to come up with the amount and help you understand how much money you've got to play with. And that usually comes in the form of a mortgage in principle. It's a certificate from the bank to say, based on what you've told us, we are happy to lend you X amount of money. Well, once we've got that, that's exactly where we start our search. We know how much money we have to play with. We have to do this as the foundational search before we start anything, so that you know exactly where to start on your search. Does that make sense? So once we've got our structure sorted, we have our finance and budgets in mind, we can then go on to actually finding the property. Now, you may have a budget in mind, but there's a lot of other criteria that we need to know in order to channel that search. For example, what strategy are you going to use? Are you looking for a buy-to-let, a student accommodation, HMO, a BRR, a flip? There's so many different things, and I think this is why it can get overwhelming at the start, because you think, oh my Lord, where do I start? My piece of advice here is pick one and explore it, because otherwise you will spend one day over here and then another day over here, and you actually make no progress in moving forward. The strategy that you pick, the type of investment that you go for, will be based on your needs, your requirements, your budget, and really what your dream outcome and your goal is of your property journey. For example, if someone is looking for a very steady, guaranteed income, then they may be better with a lease property where there's a guaranteed rental income in place. Whereas if someone is looking for maximum yields, they're happy to take a little bit more risk for more rewards, then a HMO or an SA may be more suited for them. I have loads of videos that go into all the different types of strategies to help you work out which one it is for you. But in that finding stage, you need to understand what your criteria is to help you narrow down your search. Otherwise, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. You have the entire UK property market, you've got every single type of property, and it becomes so hard to navigate. So actually channeling your focus, understanding the exact type of property you're looking for, the budget, the location, will help you narrow down your search so much more. It will help you to become an area expert and an expert in that niche, so you know what a good deal looks like and you can actually compare like for like deals to make sure you're getting the best one. Finding deals is all about that number crunching. It's about reviewing deals and being able to do it quickly, because good deals do not hang around, and then making it all the way to a viewing to make sure that it is the right fit for you. Once you have found your perfect investment, next up, we have negotiation. I love a little bit of negotiation and getting nitty gritty on the numbers to really make sure you work that number to get the best possible price, to make sure your money is working for you. If we get this right, we can make money on day one. So negotiation is huge. We want to make sure we are getting the best possible deal because we've worked hard to generate this money. So we want to make sure that we are putting it into the right place and we're getting the best possible value. Ideally below market value, because then you're winning from day one. If we can find a property that is valued at 100,000 but we actually buy it for 80,000, on that day that we get the keys, we've made 20,000 because we've bought it for below the market value, which is incredible. And negotiation is about making sure that you are getting the best possible deal to make sure we are putting our money in the right place. Once we have the property, we have agreed a price, then we have a whole legal process to navigate in order to make that property ours. Now, shockingly, only 50% of deals agreed ever make it to completion. That is wild. So once we get this far, we've still got some work to go. The purchasing process is so important, and here my biggest piece of advice would be to have an incredible solicitor on your side. I have seen solicitors make and break a deal. A solicitor is your legal partner. They are making sure that you are completely safe in this transaction and they are working on your behalf. I have seen solicitors complete in 1 week, and I've seen solicitors that will take 11 months. Wild. And it can be so frustrating because if you were waiting 11 months to complete on a property purchase, you've missed out on 11 months of income. You agreed that deal 11 months ago. That's nearly a whole year worth of income that you have lost because the legal process was dragged out for so long. So in this legal section, you have a part to play. You need to make sure that you're reviewing contracts as soon as they come in, that you are really, really proactive in this process and continuously push your solicitor forward to keep this moving, to make sure that you get that investment, because time is money and you are losing money every single week. This is pushed further and further along because you are missing out on that rental income. So my biggest piece of advice here is that the hard work, unfortunately, is not over yet. You've got a little push more to go to get this over the line. Make sure you are surrounded by an incredible solicitor who you completely trust, who has great reviews, and that you have an incredible team by your side. It will make this process so much easier for you and help you to get to completion in the quickest amount of time. Once you're through the legal process, you get to completion. That is the day you have been waiting for. The keys are yours, you own the property, and it is an incredible day. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, we are not done yet. We have this property, we have the keys. Now what do we do with it? We're investors. We need this property to make us money. So there will always be an ongoing system in place. Again, this will come back down to the strategy that you're using. For example, if it's a flip, it's time to get that build team in, get it done to get it sold. If it's a buy to let, it's about getting that dream tenant in that's going to look after your property, that's going to pay you on time, and you want them in ASAP so you can start generating money from the property. Depending on your strategy will depend on the actions that you have to take here. But once that completion day is hit, the ball is in our court to make it happen. And again, this is where your dream team are going to be a massive value to you, because you may need a maintenance guy, you may need a new tenant, so you may need a management agency, and it's finding these people and getting the right people on board. Because if you have the right management agency on board, then this can then become a passive investment for you that's going to pay you every single month. If not, you can be covered in stress, got a whole load of work on your plate, making sure you're compliant, you're legal, that everyone is getting paid. It can become a headache. And from experience, I have seen landlords that are out of their mind stressed, that they're getting calls all day, every day, and they actually just want to sell the property because it's becoming that much of a headache. And then I have other clients who are living their best life, holidaying and enjoying themselves, and completely forget they even have property because it's that hands-off for them. So I want to make sure you are in the hands-off camp, that you're enjoying this process, that once you have done this hard work in finding the deal, finding the property and getting it set up, that it can be a passive hands-off investment for you. So that final stage is all about the ongoing systems. Who is in your dream team to help you make this happen? What are the next steps that you need to take? And it will come down to your strategy, it will come down to your end goals, but it's something not to be overlooked and something you definitely need to make sure you are getting the right team involved in. And then that's it. You own a property that is making you money every single month for the rest of your life. That's not to say you'll never hear of it again. With property, with people, there'll always be ups and downs, but if you have the right team around you, it will make every situation a dream. There's no situation that cannot be resolved, but we need to make sure we are being proactive, we have the right team around us, so if anything does happen, we are sorted. In a nutshell, that is the purchase process from start to finish. So I really hope that helps you on your investment journey. We have so many different videos that go into those stages in a lot more detail. If you want to get started, start in that setup phase with structure and finance, and that's definitely the first step that you need to take on your journey. And my biggest piece of advice is just make sure that you're surrounded by the very best. In property, you don't do it alone. You need to rely on a team of experts, whether that's a mortgage broker, an accountant, a solicitor, and you need to start building those relationships and having an incredible team around you to make this a lot simpler, to save you a lot of headaches, a lot of stress, and actually enjoy the process. I hope that helps. I will catch you on the next video.